Hello everybody and welcome back to Mama's Backyard Garden. Today is an exciting day because we get a chance to take our seedlings to the next level. So come with me as we take our plants today. We're going to prick out and pot up. We're back, y'all. We're going to pot up some plants that I started prior to my seed starting video. And right here, what I have in my hand is some flat leaf parsley. It is ready to come out of the container. You can see the roots in there looking really good in there. And I planted these on 12/21, and they have germinated. They look really good. Now, usually when you pot out seeds from a container like this, you want to sit it in some water so that the dirt can get moist. That way you don't have a lot of stress on the roots when you pull them. But it's still some soft soil because basically it's just cocoa coir and a little bit of the mixture from the potting mix that I had. So it'll be fine. So this is one of the things that we're going to pot up today. Also, I've got some celery that has germinated. So we're going to try to get some of this potted up today. That's a lot of celery, y'all. We might do these first because I want to put the celery in these containers here. So let's start with the celery first. Well, no, let's do parsley. They're a little bit bigger, so we'll do the parsley first, right? So we have those, and then you got to have something to get them out. Some people use a spoon. You can do that, but these are my little tools that I can use to get these plants out of here. And I can use either one of these. And remember, I used the dipper side the other day when I was starting my seeds. So this is like a little scoop. So if I want to get something out of a round one like that, I can scoop that in there and that'll pick up the whole plant. But I don't think I need that for this one. I think this one is much better because I want to tease them apart. I can use either end of these. I can't remember where I got them from. I think I got them with a little kit or something that I ordered a while back. But anyway, the first thing you want to do is to get these out of the pot. That's the number one thing to do. And let's do something else first. I want to moisten these. So I'm going to take this bottom part here. We're going to put some water in it. That's what we'll do. Let me get water. Okay, I'm back. I got water. And you just want to put water in the bottom of this. And then you can sit these in here. And what that does, that'll soak up and that'll get the soil nice and moist for you. So while you're putting your seedlings in, they'll be in a nice moist atmosphere and you don't have to worry about any plant shock. But there's another thing I'm going to do as well. So we have those sitting in here. The water is lukewarm, which means it's going to, the soil is going to absorb much quicker in here. Now this is my own potting soil mix that I used, that I made. I used the Pro Mix and I sift it, and then I add a little bit of the cocoa coir to it as well. It already has perlite in it, so I don't need to put any more perlite. And it's supposed to be some pretty decent soil. It's kind of pricey, but you get a really big bag. I think it's about 60 pounds. So it's really worth the money. So I don't complain about that. But anyway, let's get these out. So basically all I'm going to do is just take this out. We're going to take out a little clump probably. This is parsley, flat leaf. See if we can get that out of there. As you can see, the soil is really dry. And I could just shake it off, really. And it helps to, so you can see the root. Look at that root system. Those roots look really nice, don't they? Nice and healthy. So I'll just take one at a time and just pull it out. That's two. There you go. So that's one plant. Now, the most important thing is when you pull these out, you want to grab them by the leaf. Do not grab them by the stem because the stems are delicate and you can break them. So make sure that you pull them out by the stem if you have to do that. Then I take my dibber. This comes in handy. It doesn't matter what size, but I'll take this side because I want to make a really nice, long, deep hole. And I'm going to put that in there. And I will just stick this in the dirt with the dibber. Just put the roots in very gently. And it's really good to put your plants out early because they're still babies and the shock won't really bother them too much. Now you have the condyletums right here, which are the first leaves that come out. These are the condyletums. So I'm going to leave those on there just so they can help bring more energy from the light it absorbs to help make the plant grow. So that's one down. And then we'll make another hole here. Let's make one deep enough. We'll pull out another one. I try to pick out the prettiest ones. Some of them are kind of weak, so I pick out the prettiest ones, or the stronger ones rather. That's another one, has a nice root system. And you just take that one and you put that in there. Now there are some plants that don't like their roots disturbed. Certain things like squash and cucumbers, but there's a way to transplant them without shocking the roots. These are going to make some nice little plugs. And then you have another one here. Oh, and by the way, if you all remember from my last video when I seeded some cabbage and kale and some tree collards, believe it or not, those have germinated. So I'm going to show those to you here in just a second. And I have those planted out in these trays that I'm working in right now. I had 4, so I used 3 earlier, and this is the last one that I have. I kind of like these. I might get some more. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money and get stuff like this. You can plant them up in paper cups, like stuff like this. I have some smaller ones that are for seedlings. I have little cups like this. These are like maybe 2 inches or so. And this is perfect just to get it in there to help it establish a nice root system before you pot it up or either put it outside into a bigger area. And I also have some that are square. These are 2 inch by 2 inches. But you know, you don't have to spend your money for that. You can always use whatever you have around the house to pot stuff up. If you have an old water bottle, you can put holes in the bottom of it and put some dirt in it and use it to grow your plant in it. It'll be kind of neat because you'll get a chance to see the roots of the plant while it's growing. You just want to put gently in here. It has some long roots on it. Let's see, we'll turn this around since that's wet. Put the dry end in here. There we go. Now I turn back around. So I love this little tool. If you don't have one of these, you can use this. This is a barbecue skewer. It does the same thing. And you don't have to worry about flipping it around because it's long. And you can take it as far as you want. If you think that's too long, you can break it down to the size that you want it to be in. And that works well. You know, a lot of people ask me, why do I garden? And what is it about it that I like so much? They look at it as being a lot of work. But it's so rewarding to be able to know that these little seedlings that I'm putting in here now, I started from seed. And I'm going to see them grow into some really nice flat parsley plants that someone is going to be able to enjoy outside of myself. So just the joy of being able to see that you can actually grow your own food is really exciting to me. And that's what I like about gardening. When I was young, that's all we had. All of our neighbors had gardens. And we had so much food in abundance until we would still share with each other. We had grapes, peaches, and pears, and apples, plums my mom canned. So we always had food for the winter because she canned it. And, you know, as time has gone on, a lot of people have gotten away from doing that because we're in a hurry. We're always trying to get somewhere. But this is the most rewarding thing to do here. It relieves a lot of stress. And yes, I do talk to my plants. I boost them on, tell them how pretty they are. And, you know, if I see they're looking bad, I'll tell them that they look bad, but I do something to fix them. so that they can stop looking bad. It's quite a bit of parsley here. This is a cool weather plant. I can put these outside in the greenhouse, and they can grow out there because they can tolerate the cool weather. I do have a little heater out there because I have some trees that are not cold hardy in the greenhouse, and I have that heater set to come on when the temperature gets to a certain, or when it gets to a certain temperature inside of the greenhouse. So I go out and check them, make sure they're okay, keep them watered. I'm going to start fertilizing them here soon because we're getting close to spring. I want to give them something to kind of help their roots generate some energy to give me some new leaves, and hopefully I can have some lemons this year. Just hopefully. But this is very easy to do. And turn it around and you can see that it looks nice already. I wasted water. So let's see. Now it's nice and saturated now because the water was warm. I can pour this out. Put that back in here. The soil is nice and moist. And that's why I use warm water, simply because it helps to saturate the soil quicker than cold water. Let's see if we can pick out another one here. This is parsley. I always ask I'll have a lot of people asking me if I grow parsley, and I usually grow it, but I just only grow enough for myself. So this year I'm gonna try to grow extra so that people who want to have some can have a plant. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna make some nice seedlings. I might have to put a little bit more soil in that one, but that's okay. I can top that off. So you can, it's very easy. And the reason I do it this way is because they're much smaller, and you don't put them through a lot of shock when they're this small, as opposed to when they get to a certain size. You start messing with the roots, it tends to take the plants through some extra shock. So I like the fact of being able to pick them out when they're small. That way they can adapt to the new area much quicker. Much quicker. We're gonna have quite a few. We're gonna have quite a few left over as well. You want to be kind of tender with them, but there's a few of them in here that really is not that strong. So try to pick the best ones that I can find. Another thing I like about gardening is the flavor of the food and the difference that it tastes from what you buy in the grocery store. It's you can't explain it. It is a taste that is very pure. You know what's going in it because you've grown it, you cared for it, you loved it all this time, and you've given it all the nutrients that it needs in order to produce properly. And it tastes better because you know that you grew it. So it's just a lot of benefits to exercise, especially in the summertime. I'm always in the garden doing something, whether I'm staking up a plant or if I'm planting some new seedlings, or if I'm trying to fertilize, or whatever it is that I'm doing out there. I'm always in the garden. And it's always nice to go out in the mornings and just walk through the garden and take a look at it while it's nice and cool. It seems like that's when they're at their strongest to me. They've had a chance to settle down from the stress of the day before, overnight. And if you've given them some food or fertilized them in the afternoon of the day before, they've had a chance to really absorb some of that. This one is pretty nice. I guess y'all saying don't look like I'm handling them too easy. After you do this for a while, it's easy. So that's why I enjoy gardening. It's just peaceful. It gives me a lot of peace. It allows me to escape into my own little world, get close to nature, all of those wonderful things. I think we're going to have 25 nice parsley plants here. Let's see. Pull another one out. Here's a good one here. So it's good to learn how to garden. It really is. And it's healthy. It's really healthy. You can make your own seasoned salts. You can make your own seasoned sugars. You can make your own ground herbs, your oreganos, your thyme, rosemary. You can grow all of those things and just go in the backyard and pick it. This parsley is nice looking. Let's see, we got 5 more to go. We'll just go ahead and make those 5 holes. And I can dry that off. It's wet, so it sticks to the root. Here we go. Looks like I picked all the nice strong ones out. Here's one here. So a lot of these have true leaves. This top leaf here is a true leaf. So this is one of the permanent leaves of the plant. These condyletums, once they get to a certain point, they will die and fall off, or you'll eventually pick them off anyway. But a few of them have their true leaves, which is okay. There's another one. Let me show you a little close up. This is a true leaf here. This is a condyletum. This is a baby leaf. This is the first leaf that comes up when the plant comes out of the dirt, out of the soil. But this is your first true leaf on that one. So we'll see if we can salvage that one. It's kind of tiny, but we'll put it in there anyway. And then I also water these in with some, it's not really fertilizer, but I buy it from this company called Vermistera. It's called Vitality. And it helps with transplant shock of the roots. So we'll put a little bit of that in some water. We'll dilute it. We don't want to put anything too heavy on the plants because they are still babies. So we're going to dilute it. And then we're going to just squeeze it on the top and let it go from the top to the bottom. And I'll show you how we'll do that. Technically, when you transplant now from here on out, you want to bottom water your plants. You don't want to spray because you don't want to have any type of disease and stuff that will grow on those leaves. So you want to water from the bottom. And it's pretty moist now because it had a chance to absorb a lot of that lovely water that it was sitting in just a few minutes ago. But I still am going to use a little bit of this Vitality, but I'm going to put it on the top down by the root so that the root can automatically absorb it. It's water soluble, which means that it will absorb it immediately. So there, we have 25 flat parsley plants. Don't that look nice? They're nice and healthy. So the next thing is I need to, kind of make them more stable in the dirt. And there's a couple of things I could do. I may put some vermiculite or some perlite around the top. That will help keep this moist, which means I won't have to water as often, and it'll help keep down any possibility of fungus gnats. Now, I actually sifted my Pro Mix, and I moistened it with some very, very hot water, packed it down, and let it sit for a few hours so it can cool off. And then I actually did some more cocoa coir, which was warm as well, and I mixed them together. And I just let those sit in my container covered for a few hours, and it should help to reduce the fungus gnats, but I always take necessary precautions when I'm doing that. But those look nice. So we have quite a few seedlings left here. I don't like to throw them away, so I'm probably going to pot them up in these little containers here. Let's see if we can move those over. Maybe a few of them that I can do without, but it may be some that I need to keep because they look good. I don't like to throw away any seedlings. I try to keep as many as I possibly can if they look healthy or if they're big enough. But if they're too small, I may not. Like this one, it's still kind of small. I don't know if I want to mess with that one. And that one as well. So the little ones like that, you want to kind of just pick out. That way you'll have an idea of just how many more you think they're viable. These don't have any true leaves on them, but that's big enough to maybe pot up. And here's another one, a couple of them here. What about you? Okay. So we'll just move these out of the way. And what I can do is I will put these back in this pot here. I'll just put them back in the pot and cover them up with a little dirt. That's what we'll do until we get ready to pot some more out. And that way I can hold on to them. They're falling over now, but they'll be okay. I'll put some water. I'll water those from the bottom as well. So that's what I have left over. And these small ones here, we'll just pop these in the trash can. And put this one over here as well. We'll moisten that up. So the next thing that I want to do is put some of my Vitality on it. So this is Vitality. It is Vermistera. It is like a worm tea, pretty much, and it is balanced 1-1-1. So that means it has an NPK of 1-1-1, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So this is going to be great for these little plants because they're small, it's not very heavy, and we're going to dilute it. Now I have a water bottle, and basically all you do is take the water bottle and pop a hole in it. You see there's a hole in the top? And I use this to put a hole in the top of the water bottle. That's all you need, it's a hole like that. And I always give this a good shake. And we'll just pour some of this in that bottle. That's about all I need. I want to shake it, but make sure you put your hand over the hole so you don't have everything going everywhere. Shake that real good. And it's very light. And that's what you want. So basically all I do is just take that and pour some around the top. And that helps to settle the plant in as well. And I guess you say, well, you just had it in water. That's okay. This will drain out. But in the meantime, the roots will have something to absorb to help them get stabilized in here and help them to start growing. This is some really good stuff. I actually had an opportunity to see one of the owners on one of the channels that I was watching, and she explained how they made their vermistera. I buy the worm casting from them as well since I don't have a worm bin. And I just buy it once a year and sprinkle it out. I just use it to kind of help to feed the worms or help to generate more worms. And it works. I have quite a few worms that are in the beds. So we're all ready to go. All potted, ready to go. These will go under the lights and then we'll come back and pot up something else. Okay, guys, we're back. But it happens to be a couple of days later because I had a little mishap down in the basement that I had to get fixed. So now that that's working, I'm able to pick back up where I am. So these are the little seedlings that I potted up in the last time, or the first part of the video. And they looking really good. So I have 2 trays of cilantro. Then this is the date that I potted them up, on the 11th. And as well, I have some flat parsley here. That's really gorgeous. You can see how pretty that is. And so I have them this close to the light because when you're growing your little seedlings, you need to have them at least 2 inches from the light. That way they don't have to stretch real long to get to it, even though these lights are pretty bright. You want something that with at the maximum of a 5,000 lumen. I can't remember the exact specs. I'll probably put them in the comment section. So these actually will stay under here until they get a little taller, and then I will take these styrofoam box fillers out as they get tall so that, you know, they can still be under the light but not too far away from it. So they're looking really, really good. We got the habaneros and the eggplants over here. Hot peppers take a while to germinate. I let the dirt stay in some water from the bottom a little bit too long, so I set them under the lights, hoping that the heat from these lights will help germinate the seeds or warm the soil up for me to make those come. These are my Egyptian walking onions. I plan on putting those out probably around about February if, you know, it's not too cold and the ground is not frozen. I have a spot, or I need to figure out where I want to put them. And over here are the herbs that we started. We didn't do too well. We'll start some more. So this is my oregano. So it's doing pretty well. And this is the thyme right here. And if you really get close to it, you can really smell the thyme and the oregano. And then I have celery back here. It's ready to be pricked out and potted up. So I may do that today. And then I have some pink celery that needs to be pricked out and potted up. So everything's looking pretty good. I'm going to hit them with some water. They're wet. I'm sorry, they're dry. As you can see, the top of the soil is really a light brown. So they're wet. And these are very light when you pick them up. Let's see if I can grab one. Pick it up, and you know, it's not heavy. And you can see the top of that is a light brown, and it needs some water. So we're going to water them really good. Maybe give them a little light worm tea and help pass them on through to the next stage. And these are my cabbages here. Cabbage and my tree collards. They germinated very well. I'll split those up and put those into separate pots, and I'll have double of what's in there. And that's one thing about planting more than one seed. You tend to have extra if you need to have extra. So we'll get these watered and we'll come back to you. These are the calendulas that I planted on the 6th when I did the collards. And look how many has germinated since then. I'll eventually get either my little tool here, and I can prick out one at a time, and I'll pot these up. So these will be up potted as well. I'll probably put them in a much bigger pot so I won't have to transplant them anymore or pot them up anymore. And then it'll give the other ones a chance to germinate. And as they start coming up and getting to a certain size, I can prick them out as well. So I'm excited about my calendula. They love cool weather. So I may be able to put some of these out prior to me putting my spring veggies out, and they will be available for the bees that come out early, or when the little, I think you have like honeybees that come out kind of early, and sometimes bumblebees are out early. And if they have some pollen, that will attract them into the yard. So once I put out my other plants, they'll already be there, and they can most definitely help to pollinate the other plants that I have. So these are the calendulas. The zinnias have not germinated yet. It takes a long time. I'm sorry, not zinnias. They're snapdragons. It takes snapdragons a long time to germinate. So hopefully we'll be getting some seeds from them. So that's the end of the video for the pricking out and potting up series of Mama's Backyard Garden. I hope that you were able to learn something from that today. And don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe so you can come back and you can invite your friends and we can all grow a lot of good veggies together. So until next time, bye.